Well, despite a valiant effort in the fourth quarter, the Toronto Raptors fall short against the Washington Wizards on opening night, 98-83. I'm Randy Urban, and this is Nightcap. Guys, I missed you. It's nice to be back, right?
Nice to see you not on a screen like we're doing like the Brady Bunch thing, right?
I hope you're better in real life than Zoom.
At what? At what?
It's good to be back with you guys, and happy to be together again.
Yeah.
And tough game tonight, but you know what? It's a start.
More, Jacko.
It's a start of something good.
Jack, let's talk about it. Like, it's their first Raptor regular season game in 600 days. What did it feel like for you to walk into the arena?
It was like Christmas morning, Christmas Eve, whatever that anticipation is, the butterflies, the excitement. So it was great.
I agree, Jack. And I looked at the energy, and that was, for me, that was one of the keys. Coming out, taking the energy, but not letting it push you over the top. I thought...
Yeah, they were walking the ball up early in the game.
Yeah.
Like, you got to go.
Yeah.
But it was kind of that nervousness, you know?
Did you sense nervousness from the beginning?
Yeah.
There's only 3 guys left over from the championship team, right? So
Yeah.
they know what the building's like.
Yeah.
To everybody else, it's new.
And they missed it. You know, they come back. They want to put on a good show, too. So that's a little extra,
Right.
Anxiousness, right?
Well, let's start with how the game kind of started for the Raptors. And it was okay at first, and then a little bit defensively, it was tough to stop them in the paint. What was going on there?
The defense and attacking the paint. I thought they spread the Raptors out a lot too and did a good job on basket cuts. And just, basic basketball principles. Play between your man and the basket and being able to pick up cutters, see man, see ball.
That was the one thing that struck me. You know, when you're playing ball and a guy pushes up on you, what do you tell the kid, right? Beat him on the dribble. Well, the Raptors applied good pressure on the perimeter, but then when the ball was put on the floor, there wasn't always the foot movement, the lateral movement to keep the guy in front. And now they're getting into the paint and they're scoring at the rim, or they're dumping it off, or as Jack said, there are cuts from the weak side, right? It's become a thing in the NBA. Somebody's driving, somebody else is cutting.
But think about it. Okay, what's the idea with the Raptors? Length, pressure.
Yes.
Yep. Well, if you can't contain, you got a real problem. And they could not contain the ball in this game. And again, I'm not going to overplay it, right? It's game 1, right? I was just joking. Like, normally you used to have 8 preseason games. Okay, this was 5. This is number 5. But, if you're going to play and hang your hat on that, your length and ability to guard and get into lanes, you have to contain the ball.
And then that's where I thought the energy that you talked about, Leo, got them at the other end. Now they're trying to come back quickly. It's the first quarter. Hold on a second. Easy, guys. Like, take your time on the comeback. There was a lot of... they kind of lost their personality at times offensively.
It's interesting you say that. I think, teams...
Wobbly here already.
Teams that get their personality from their offense, it's kind of a little volatile.
Yeah.
And I thought tonight, early on, they allowed their offense to affect their defense.
Right.
And I thought late in the game, though, they found their identity where it didn't matter what was going on the offensive end. They were really guarding on the defensive end. I think that's going to help them as they go along.
How about Kipling bus 45? Banton comes in. He sparks them, And Jack, to your point, when you're down 29 and you're coming back, the anatomy of a comeback is make a run, hold it there for a bit, and make another run. They had that thing at 85-70, and I think had 3 or 4 consecutive stops.
They couldn't make a shot.
And then all of a sudden, Bradley Beal makes one, and you've held them at 15 for a long time. You haven't made any ground, and all of a sudden it's 17, it's 19, and you're looking at it.
Think about this, okay? Jack and I were talking earlier, okay? When you played, you got the ball up the court, right?
Yes.
When you played, got the ball up the court, right?
Leo.
Well, no.
No, I know you couldn't play, so I'm not even bringing
I
that.
definitely can't play.
Come on, man.
So you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's game 1.
it was second nature.
Yes.
When you got the ball in your hands, go.
Yeah.
It's not second nature anymore to players. And you're always talking about got to get guys to push. There's one guy that you mentioned that pushes every time he gets it, Delano Banton.
Yeah.
Okay, and the Raptors have played with a lot of smaller guards. Now you got a guy that's 6'8", that pushes every. And when I say push, you get a rebound, even if it's just getting to the half court quickly.
Yeah.
He does that every time.
Yeah.
And those guys are so rare. No, I mean, think about it. Coaches talk about a point guard. We got to get him to push. Huh? Wait a minute. You got to get a point guard to push? Isn't that what point guards do?
It should be done by natural.
It's right.
Naturally.
But this kid does it naturally. So I think you got to find I mean, if it's me, I'm going to live with some mistakes and see if this kid can go.
It's a good point you make. And not only push, but pitch.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's something wrong with
Makes
pitching in
sense
the
to
head
say
too.
he sees the floor.
And so I like him. It's funny. We got the opportunity. Jonesy, you and I were at training camp one day watching. One of the guys that really jumped off the page at me, watching practice, live scrimmage, was Delano Ben. I was like, man, this kid's good. And then I remember calling his BioSteel high school all-star game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this dude's going to Western Kentucky. This is a high major player. I'm looking at it from the eyes of a guy that recruited mid-Division I, and I'm saying that guy
I couldn't have
is
got
not
him.
a mid. I couldn't have got him. He's not a mid. So he's got major ability, and to me, I think it's really untapped right now. I think his best years are ahead of him, and they're going to be in the pros.
Well, I mean, the game changed. The energy in the building changed when he stepped on the floor, and then he hits the shot. His first points.
Second one he's made. He did another one in the
Did one in the
preseason.
That's right. But his first, has that ever happened? I mean, we were talking how long you've been here.
I don't remember that, but I give Nick Nurse credit because, I said this on our broadcast. I ran into Nick when I got to Las Vegas for the last 2-3 days of the summer league. He was heading out. Mm-hmm. He had stuff to do. And I saw him in the airport, and he talked about a night specific like this, saying, we're going to play hard. We're going to guard you. We might have the odd difficulty scoring here and there, but we're not going to give up. And he plays a hunch. 3 quarters, nothing going on, looks down the bench. Benton, let's go, get in there. And the game changed.
Can I make a point? Because you use the word hunch. I think a lot of the seasons, Fred VanVleet and OG Anunoby, who didn't have it tonight, and even a Pascal Siakam, those are guys you're going to count on a lot. But there's going to be nights where they struggle because this style of play is so hard to play. It's exhausting.
But think about it. But based on that, okay, you got a lot of different guys. I don't want to overstate Delano Ben right now. He's a rookie, right? Mm-hmm. But how many guys do you have that do what he does? To me, he's the one guy that sticks out. So I'm going like, okay, he's going to make some mistakes. He's a rookie. He's going to have some issues. But I think I'm going to try to live with that and see where it takes me, if it's me. Because I've been that impressed with what I've seen.
I thought their offense looked pretty cool with him and Scotty Barnes. Basically running the offense, tall guys who see and they
willing passers too.
Yeah,
willing passers.
The sequence of the night was the dribble handoff action and a back cut for
Boucher.
That was just amazing.
And it's important, I think, for fans to not get too caught up in game one, right?
Game one.
No, game 5. Preseason.
Yeah, it's right. It's these guys have a long season ahead. And look, you're playing tonight without your best player. You're without your leading scorer. As good as those guys were, it's going to be different when Pascal Siakam's back on the floor as well.
They had OG and Fred both had tough nights.
They did, and they played well in the preseason.
Yeah.
So I was honestly not expecting that.
Yeah.
They have championship rings. They've been part of the winning. I think it's probably an event they get more keyed up for, that maybe impacted them a little, Leo.
No question. I agree. Because even, like I said, at the beginning of the game, like OG played so well in preseason. When he got the ball, he walked up the floor. That's like a nervous... It was he didn't have that
conservative, yes.
And Fred tried to be calm. He tried to be a calming presence, knock down the first 3, but Fred wasn't pushing either. So there was some, I think they wanted to show well, but there was a little, I think a little anxiousness, first game.
And give Washington some credit. Here's a team.
Well,
you're trading Russell Westbrook. Tommy Shepard did a good job. He got 3 guys, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Kyle Kuzma, and Montrezl Harrell was a beast tonight.
Matt Devlin made a really good point. He compared it to the Rudy Gay trade.
Yes.
And you look at, and Rudy was a heck of a player, still is, and but you get a number of good players, and it fills a lot of the holes in your roster. If you're Bradley Beal, you look around, you got a pretty good roster.
And it's more of an equal opportunity offense now. Beal's your main scorer. The ball's going to touch a lot of hands before he takes a shot. Whereas, Russell Westbrook, he's got stats, but he's a difficult guy to play with. Yeah. And it changes the dynamics of your team in a lot of ways.
Russ, as we saw last night, has got some adjusting to do in LA as well, right? Like he's not going to have the ball in his hands with LeBron there. So, but I as much as we're talking about the Raptors, I think we got to give Washington
Yeah.
some credit.
Yeah, for sure. But let's go. But let's talk about Scotty Barnes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
See,
pretty
we're
good
trying to talk
debut.
Washington. What does he do? He goes right back to.
Jack,
See,
what's your impressions of
this guy,
Scotty?
This guy.
Well, you know, he, quite frankly, didn't play as well tonight as he did in the preseason. You know, there's a different level of play in the regular season. And I said this on the air, the Raptors didn't play a competitive game for the game, and it showed for him too. But, you know, I've seen him now play 6 games, you know, the preseason and now tonight. And based upon the body of work that I see, I like him a lot.
This kid.
He's gonna have a night where he scores a lot, or he's gonna have a night where he gets a lot of assists or rebounds or steals or whatever, Leo. But he's gonna be a guy. You know, our colleague Sam Mitchell compared him to Scottie Pippen, which is amazing praise. But he's got that kind of
unrealistic,
game.
yeah.
He's got like a Pippen T-Mac kind of game.
And I think
He does.
when people hear say something like
Last
that,
30
it's not
seconds.
saying he's Scottie Pippen. It's saying there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
And how he plays. And like I said, there's a lot of guys who've been in this league a long time that don't see the floor, that don't understand what's going on. And I made this point with Jack earlier, Jonesy, that okay, he's the kind of player that fits.
Yes, he does.
Now, when
Yes, he does.
everything is not going well around him, he's not going to play as well.
Yeah.
When you put when the veteran guys, if Fred, OG,
yeah.
Pascal are doing their thing, Scotty's game is going to go like this.
Good point.
When everybody else is kind of crap in the bed, he's not going to stand out as much, right? And I think that's what we saw tonight.
Well,
Real
I
quick,
was
Jonesy.
I was impressed with during the comeback when they cut the lead down to like 10 points and there was a bucket scored and Nick was using his zone presses and stuff. There was no press on. The ball was inbounded to Beal and he turned at his own free throw line and Scotty Barnes was right in his kitchen like, okay, let's go. And so that's the kind of attitude that you're going to need. And I just, I hope that they can keep it up for the entire year.
Well, it's good to have you guys back. I appreciate you doing this. We
That's
gotta
it?
stop you. Yeah, we got to stop you there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a quick show, Jack.
Is your blue cup empty?
It's a quick show.
I still got stuff in mine.
I have a little more water in my cup.
Next game for the Raptors, Friday night, 7:30 in Boston. We'll see you
Wine and
then.
wine.